much of the work, and I've been doing much of the work by myself, um, but it's connected with parts that themselves are connected with difficult or challenging or very negative memories around negative experiences in the past. I think it's probably true of many of us. Um, and then I was listening this morning to a video recording, which I was enjoying, and I've appreciated these recordings very much. It's very wise, challenging. Um, but that was coming from the point of view that I think it links with how many spiritual teachers are explaining about um, uh, energy follows thought. So what you think about can create what arrives in your life, or does, in fact, create. And of course, if you're thinking something negative, then, well, the warning is watch out. That's what's coming your way. So I think it's coming from that kind of platform around if you focus on, or it was kind of really guidance saying, don't keep focusing, don't keep bringing back bad memories. And so the question, sorry it's taken me so long to get here, but the question is, how do we balance that in IFS work if others like me are actually dealing with IFS parts that are really anchored in or had their creation, if you like, in a time that was extremely negative. So when you're working with them, all of those memories come back. But absolutely none of us want to recreate anything around that experience that was so harsh or terrible or frightening for us in the past. How do we balance that in our IFS work? Does that make sense?
Yes, let me ask them. What do you want to
Thank
say?
you.
Okay, they said balance, 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 balance. And then they said misunderstanding.
Mm,
They're saying many, many, many people have a misunderstanding around this.
good, thank you.
It's not about suppressing the thoughts.
Mm,
It's about transforming them. They're saying suppression has its place. It has its time and its place. They're saying you all have protectors for a reason. We all have
mm,
protectors for a reason. There is a time and a place for suppression. They're showing like sometimes we have to do what we have to do in the moment to get to where we need to go, to do what we need to do to stay safe in the moment, whatever it is. And then there's a time and a place to transform it. And there's a lot of people who believe suppression is the only way.
mm,
There's a lot of spiritual teachers, they're saying, who believe suppression is the only way, or they think that transformation is an occasional thing that happens, they're saying. And they're saying it's not an occasional thing that happens, that can happen. They're saying transformation is the very nature of these thoughts. It is just the natural path of them. And they're talking about how that natural path gets stopped. It gets stopped because of the things that we learn, the experiences that we have growing up. It gets stopped because we're told to suppress them. We aren't
mm.
taught how to just transform them.
Yeah.
They're talking about how if we grew up in a completely different way from childhood, it would just, I mean, they're just showing like every quote unquote negative thought that comes in would just get instant witnessing and be allowed to immediately transform. Is like every little thing that a part takes on or holds would be witnessed and would just allow it to transform. They're talking like so many of these would just instantly. I mean, it kind of looks like the energy of it just goes poof and it
Mm.
transforms and goes out. And they're saying that this is generally speaking, they're saying almost entirely speaking, this is not the case now. And they're talking about there being a lot of suppression. And they're talking about how that suppression builds. It builds and builds and builds and builds and builds beneath the surface. And they're showing like a volcano that someone believes is dormant until the day that it erupts, the moment
Yeah.
that it erupts. And then they're trying to sweep that volcano under the rug. It didn't erupt. No volcano erupted here. Like I see them sitting on this rug that clearly has a volcano underneath it, and there's like all this debris and stuff under there. There's like ashes and everything. And they're like, nope, 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 no volcano here, no eruption here, nothing happened here.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they're saying those people will learn when they're ready to. It is like when their hearts and minds open up and their parts begin to shift. They're talking about a lot of, we all have these like self-led parts, or not self-led parts, self-like parts. We all have these parts that believe they are self, or they believe that they are aligned with these ways that you should be in the world, and they're operating from these places. And they're saying they'll all shift when they're ready. Yep. You're just saying they'll all shift when they're ready. Okay, they're leaving it at that.
Perfect. Thank you. That's just perfect. Thank you very much indeed. It really clears things for me. Very grateful. Thank you.